Donald Trump's approval rating hit a new low as ICE agents loitered in airports, and Iran rejected Trump's proposal to end the war. For more on this, it's time for a closer look. Donald Trump promised a lot of stuff during the 2024 campaign. You might not remember because you've permanently erased it from your brain, but I do because I have his tweets tattooed all over my body like Memento. If you voted for Trump, there were probably three big things you cared about: bringing down prices, ending foreign wars, and deporting violent criminals.
Starting the day I take the oath of office, I will rapidly drive prices down. We're not going to have war in the Middle East. We're going to get the criminals, the murderers, the drug dealers. We're going to get them out of here first.
Damn, he's like me at the Emmys, 0 for 3. That's only for Outstanding Talk Show. If you include all the other categories, we're 0 for 15. And if you include all the times I lost at SNL, you know what? I want to talk this in. Why did we put this in? Just glad SNL went on such a long winning streak after I left. I hope Colin Jost brings all his Emmys with him the next time he goes bobsledding. Now that deserves an Emmy. The point is, Trump broke all of those promises. Prices are up. He's sending more troops to the Middle East, and less than 14% of ICE arrests are violent criminals. In fact, Trump's immigration plan has gone so badly, the White House recently told Republicans to stop talking about mass deportations altogether. And that was like his whole thing. That's like telling Mr. Met to stop talking about baseball. That would be a crazy thing to tell him because Mr. Met doesn't talk. True story, he used to talk, but they made him stop because he kept telling the umps to get their eyes fixed. By the way, if today's Closer Look feels underwritten at any point, it's because Mr. Met stopped by the set and our Closer Look writer Sal checked out for like 2 hours. And it wasn't just Sal, our whole Met-loving crew lost their minds. I overheard one of them say, "Finally, a real celebrity," so not a great day for my ego. I almost said, it's just a regular guy in there, but I didn't because, and I'm not joking, I don't think they know that. Here's a picture of my security guards with Mr. and Mrs. Met. If you're wondering what I was doing when that picture was taken, getting mugged by the Philly Fanatic. It's been a day. It's been a real day. So Republicans are suddenly hush-hush about their mass deportation program, and now instead of deporting murderers and drug dealers like Trump promised, ICE agents are wandering around airports like Tom Hanks in The Terminal.
What is ICE actually doing at U.S. airports right now? It's not really clear. Here's what we know they can do. According to a senior ICE official, agents could be helping out with tasks like checking IDs and doing crowd control. But we have not seen ICE agents doing much of anything. We're not seeing them doing anything at the screening checkpoints themselves, best we can tell. By and large, we are just seeing ICE walking around the terminal.
What a great use of time and resources. ICE agents are wandering around airports like they're waiting for Cinnabon to open. I know we shouldn't have gotten here at 5 a.m. for a 9 o'clock flight. ICE is more useless at airports than those things that let you check if your carry-on is the right size. People cram oversized bags into those things like they're Joe Pesci stuffing a body into the trunk of a car. Sir, I don't think it's gonna fit. Maybe my shoe will fit in your ass. I don't have a Pesci. I think it's clear I don't have a Pesci. So, deploying ICE to airports has been mostly pointless so far. Whoever came up with this dumb idea must be feeling real sheepish about it.
Whose idea was it?
Mine. That was mine.
This week, when it goes badly, you can be sure it was someone else's idea. ICE in the airports, I think that was JD. JD, weren't you the one? I think you were the one who said, let's get ICE into the airports. And while the news in general is terrible, it's still fun to watch Trump's many lickspittles having a grin and nod as he gives them credit for his failing ideas. Like earlier this week when he fully laid Iran at Pete Hegseth's feet.
I called a lot of our great people. We have great people. And I said, let's talk. We got a problem in the Middle East. Pete, I think you were the first one to speak up. And you said, let's do it.
When Hegseth heard that, he probably thought, bomb, bomb, fight, fight, drink, bomb, because that's all he ever thinks. But if he was capable of more heightened analysis, he'd probably think, what? But for now, ICE in airports is still Trump's idea, and he even did us the courtesy of explaining how he came up with it.
That was like the paperclip. You know the story of the paperclip?
No, I'm sorry, I don't, because I don't speak concussion. What Sir, what exactly the hell are you talking about?
182 years ago, a man discovered the paperclip. It was so simple. And everybody that looked at it say, why didn't I think of that?
Now, if you're thinking to yourself, is Trump right that the paperclip was invented 182 years ago? The answer is yes, he is correct. In fact, Trump went on to explain that in the year 1844, an Icelandic cobbler named Magnus Olsson invented an early prototype of the paperclip consisting of two wooden triangles fastened with twine. And of course it wasn't 182 years ago. He's just pulling numbers out of his ass like an ICE agent doing a cavity search at the airport. 182 years ago. Also, I have to go back to this part.
A man discovered the paperclip.
Nobody discovered the paperclip. It was invented. Do you think Steve Jobs just found an iPod sticking out of the sand in the beach one day? He's like, oh, look at this luck. I'll have to wear my lucky outfit the rest of my life. You're talking about it like he was a prospector digging for gold and just like stumbled on a mine full of paper. Like, oh my golly, look here. This here mountain's full of small metal loops. We can use them to hold our takeout menus together. I want to be a millionaire. So Trump's immigration plan was a bust, but what about prices? Wait, before you play the clip, let me guess. They're going down?
Tonight, gas prices are spiking. Americans are now paying nearly $1 more per gallon at the pump.
Prices keep going up and up. Prices over $6 a gallon, while this downtown LA Chevron pushes close to $9 a gallon. Can you imagine a world where we're paying $10 a gallon?
Yes.
$10 a gallon? How am I supposed to afford that? I don't got paperclip money. I showed up right after the first guy found it. If I pulled up to a gas station and saw that gas was $10 a gallon, I would just leave my car there and walk home. And then I'd walk right back to the gas station after my wife said, the you do? Okay, so we're 0 for 2 so far on Trump promises, which brings us to the war in Iran. He promised no more wars in the Middle East, but you guys, good news, it's not a war.
I saw what was happening in Iran, and I said, I hate to make this excursion, but we're going to have to do it. We took a little bit of a journey, a little bit of an excursion. I went to Susie. I always go to Susie. I said, Susie, do you mind if I take a little excursion here?
Stop calling it an excursion. An excursion is a vacation, which no one can afford because gas is so expensive. Also, an excursion doesn't last 3 weeks. An excursion, 1 week, max. The only people who go on excursions for 3 weeks are rich kids who claim they're backpacking through Europe, then post a photo from the Ritz in Barcelona. Trump can't tell us what the goal of the war is, or how long it'll last, or how it'll end. 1 minute he says he's talking to Iran, the next minute Iran says they're not talking to Trump. One breath he's sending more troops, the next he's offering a peace deal. One day he's threatening to obliterate Iran's power plants. The next he's saying stuff like this.
They did something yesterday that was amazing, actually. They gave us a present, and the present arrived today. It was a very big present worth a tremendous amount of money. And I'm not going to tell you what that present is, but it was a very significant prize.
They sent us a beautiful present worth a lot of money, a very significant prize. I can't tell you what it is, but let's just say we're not going to have trouble holding our papers together any longer. Seriously. What? And I say this with all due respect, the are you talking about? I mean, not only will he not tell us the present they gave him, he doesn't even seem to be clear on who they are.
President. In Iran.
A top person. We're dealing with the man who I believe is the most respected and the leader. The people that seem to be running it. They gave us a present, and they gave it to us, and they said they were going to give it, so that meant one thing to me, we're dealing with the right people. What it showed me is that we're dealing with the right people. Because, you know, you don't know. They said they were going to do it, and it happened. And they're the only ones that could have done it.
Who is they? What do you mean you don't know and it's a top person and they seem to be running it? Is the president getting catfished? I've been messaging with someone on Facebook. He says he's a top person at Bank of America. He says there's an account with my name on it. They're not to brag, has $1 million in it, and all I have to do is give him my social security number, and he seems to be in charge of a lot of stuff because he sent a photo of himself at work that looks very real. And but if you're worried about the president's negotiating skills, don't worry. Pete Hegseth is also involved, which makes sense because this whole thing was his idea. And he's making sure to keep the pressure on Iran.
We see ourselves as part of this negotiation as well. We negotiate with bombs. You have a choice as we loiter over the top of Tehran, as the president talked about your future. The president has made it clear that you will not have a nuclear weapon. The War Department agrees. Our job is to ensure that. And so we're keeping our hand on that throttle as long as hard as is necessary.
Yeah, I don't think that's how you meant to say that. We're keeping our hand on the throttle as long as it's hard and necessary. And then sometimes we'll take the pressure up, Sometimes we'll take the pressure down. Sometimes we'll go up and we'll just go up and down. So the throttle doesn't know what to expect. And then, just when the enemy thinks it's over and the job's nearly done, we'll speed up with the throttle really fast. Till the last bomb explodes. And, then we'll clean up and get the hell out of here. I haven't seen that hand motion since I saw everyone on my crew meet Mr. Met. By the way, I'm not the only one who thought the throttle was a weird analogy. Check out Trump's face while Hegseth was speaking.
We're keeping our hand on that throttle as long as hard as is necessary.
He looks like a nerd in an 80s movie when a lady's towel falls off. Trump's thinking to himself, uh-oh, they're going to use that clip on Seth Meyers tonight. He's talking about going long and hard on the throttle, and look at this point, the jokes, they write themselves, don't they, folks? With Biden, you had to write your own jokes, but now they write themselves. I'm bringing the self-writing jokes back. So now Trump's approval rating is at its lowest point since he returned to office, with over 60% of Americans saying they disapprove of the job he's doing. But Trump wants you to think that actually everyone's psyched. Today he wrote on social media, and this is real, public is loving ICE. They are great American patriots. They just happen to have much larger and harder muscles than most, which is what they are supposed to have. Whoa! Hand off the throttle, big fella. Trump promised 3 big things in his campaign: lower prices, no new wars, and deporting violent criminals, and he's 0 for 3. Now he can't even find his way out of a war with Iran that's both unpopular and driving prices up. He's panicking. Every time he sees his poll numbers go down on TV, he says, "Oh." Real quick, it's spring break, and so my son Axel's here. And before a closer look, he basically bullied me into giving him $1 every time I cursed in a closer look. How much? $12? I don't think we can afford it. This has been a closer look.